All right, good evening, everyone. Time is 5:36 p.m. The Lancaster ISD work session and governance workshop is now called to order. I will now take roll. Trustee Nichols.
Present.
Secretary Morris.
Present.
Trustee Cluis.
Present.
Trustee Whitfield.
Here.
Myself present. A quorum has been established. The mission of Lancaster ISD is empowering all students' purpose and passion through quality education. Had a great day today. Was able to go over to the middle school and see some chess players and potential future chess champions. And I may get in there one day. I can't get myself a title yet. I'm gonna go over there and play them, but I can't have a title yet. I won't be a champion yet. Yes, novice at its truest. Are there any citizens' communication?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
All right. The next item on our agenda is teaching and learning, DIP and SIP review. Dr. Pereira.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I'm going to call forward Ms. Bell to give that information to our board and our community. Ms. Bell, the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Jones, our distinguished board members, and Dr. Pereira. This evening, I would like to give you an update on our DIP, CIP, district improvement plans, and our campus improvement plans. So as you know, every year each year, all of the district and the campus leaders all get together with our community stakeholders. They collaborate around our DIP plans and our campus improvement plans. This is a very much an iterative process. In this process, we formulate our goals and our strategies, and we also work side by side, hand in hand with our Board of Trustees as well with this process. And in the end, our campus improvement plans and our district improvement plan serves as our strategic plan for each campus, and we have the one for the district. As I get started with our conversation this evening, I wanted to just kind of give you a quick overview of what the campus, or remind our community what the campus improvement plan looks like. So you can see here on this display that it has, it includes the goals, the performance objectives, and the strategies, and then also you'll see the quarterly updates on there as well. Tonight, I would like to essentially talk about our 4 overall overarching goals with you and give you a glow and a grow for each one of those goals. And so this slide is covering goal 1, which we will provide world-class teaching and learning experiences whereby each student grows and develops at least 1 grade level every academic year. So on the glow, you can see that the district would like to increase our STAR and EOC reading score by 10 percentage points as measured by MEET's performance. And on our grow, we would like to improve our attendance rate up to 92% and our MTSS processes. With our goal 2, we will provide safe and secure learning environments whereby all students and staff are physically and emotionally safe. I want to just pause and just say that Dr. Pereira, when she first came, she had this goal at the heart of her work. It is very important for her. She's always saying this, that safety is the #1 priority, and she's always preaching to us that it should be Maslow's before Teaks, meaning she wants our students to be safe and secure before we can even lead into the instruction. So with this goal number 2, I wanted to emphasize that we are we're reaching for 100% on our door checks, but at this time we have 97%. That is commendable, and that's our that 97% is our TEA rate with our door checks at this time. On our grow is to have 100% of our campuses to engage in a positive program that will teach and reach the whole child. And within those programs, we've had Capturing Kids' Hearts and Move This World, and so we'll continue to utilize those programs to serve our kids and to make sure that we're teaching the whole child. Let's take a look at goal 3. So goal 3, we will maintain fiscal integrity while being exceptional stewards of taxpayers' dollars. With goal 3, we would like to emphasize tonight on our glow that HR has been working towards increasing our teacher retention rate, because as you know, as we build those systems and supports with our new teachers, and retain those teachers, that historical knowledge then begins to pay off with us in huge dividends. And I do want to just mention that I dug around in the data and noticed that within the best Southwest, meaning Cedar Hill, Duncanville, and DeSoto, that Lancaster has the highest retention rate. As a matter of fact, it's in the double digits. Over the past 3 years, we've grown our teacher retention rates by 10 percentage points, and I think that's commendable as well.
Could you have her repeat that?
So over the last 3 years, our teacher retention rate has went up year over year, and it is in the double digits, 10 percentage points, and I think that is phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah. So on our grow, by 2024-2025, we would like to improve our technology infrastructure and our systems within technology. Mr. Thornhill and the technology team are doing great, keeping us safe out on the net. But as you know, technology is fast-moving and fast-paced, and so we're continuously looking at innovative ways to make sure that we are safe and secure on the net. And then last but certainly not least, is goal number 4. We will establish confidence and integrity with our community through partnership, where we will develop a culture of trust through action. So here our goal is that we will continue to promote transparency by utilizing platforms such as Let's Talk, and that's been very successful for us in helping us to meet our stakeholders and their needs and requests that they've been making, either to individual campuses or to various departments. Ms. Simpson and her team is very responsive, and they normally respond within 24 hours when there's a request. Our grow is that we want to increase our stakeholder engagement with our special education department, but I will tell you that our SPED department is doing quite well with our special population students, and some of the things that they've been doing this year that's been very significant, the family meetings, the Special Olympics, and even our transition fair that we had here recently. So Ms. Cromer, again, in that area is doing a fantastic job. Before I close out tonight, I do want to mention to you that we utilize MAP as a progress monitoring measure, and I just wanted to kind of draw for you a picture of what it means for us with MAP and correlate that to STAR, because we use MAP to kind of map our way to what's going to potentially happen with STAR. So the correlation is this: MAPS is skills-based, while STAR is standards-based. MAP is a growth instrument that we look at on a yearly basis, and we're looking at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year student performance. Additionally, MAP informs us. It helps us to understand where we are with our instructional pieces. It helps us to send in more supports, and it helps us to understand our curricular or instructional pivots that we need to make. And one of the greatest benefits that I think in using MAPS is that it allows us to see the scholar vertically, meaning that when we give a student a MAP test, we can see if they're on grade level, above grade level, or even below grade level. And sometimes some of our students are several grade levels above when they take the MAP test. However, on the STAR test, we pretty much can only see that the student is on grade level. So those are some of the benefits of utilizing the MAP test, but again, ultimately is for us to utilize the progress monitor so we know what needs we have to address those campuses and those teams and how we need to support them. And that's it for me.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Bell. Any questions from the board?
Thank you.
All right, before you go, I do have one. On goal 1, I know you mentioned the GLOWs, more so on literacy. Do we have any data or GLOWs as it relates to math or science?
So I do want to share GWC, you know that this has been a school that's been in school improvement. So just to kind of give you an example of how we map our campuses to success. So GWC on their mock assessment, I can't talk, was low. And so the principal, once she saw that she didn't make the gains that she wanted to see on that middle of the year, MAP assessment for math. She got with her team, we sent some supports in, they tweaked some things, they made some instructional pivots. And so recently on their mock, they came in at 72. Now, of course, we want more, you know, we want the 90s, we want the 100s, but they grew tremendously. And so I wanted to point that out, and that's how we were able to utilize that instrument.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Nichols?
On this information, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate all your hard work. In reference to this map, this district plan is public information, correct?
yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, so then it can be issued out to the public. I just want to, because it's ready now, or well, once we vote on it after the meeting, okay? I
Yes,
just need
ma'am.
it, so that's all. Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bell. The next item on our agenda is Special Education Quarterly Review. Dr. Pereira?
Thank you, sir. We'll call forward Mrs. Cromer to give that information to our board and share it with our community as well. Mrs. Cromer, the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Jones, distinguished board members, and Dr. Pereira. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight. I'm going to present Special Education Quarterly Update. I am the Executive Director of Special Education, and I'm going to start with our Special Education Department staff data and service providers data. And while I talk, I would like to acknowledge that the Special Education Department is here. If y'all want to stand up and wave, some of our wonderful members. And they worked very hard, and they came at after 5:30 to see you guys, so thank you for coming. So we'll talk about first our Special Education Central Office staff. And so you'll see administrative staff includes myself, my assistant director, and our office clerks, as well as my administrative assistants. So there are 6 of us. And then we have instructional support staff that supports the campuses directly, my coordinators, instructional specialists, behavior specialists, and art facilitators. And there's 13 of them total. Service providers that specifically provide speech services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, adaptive PE, and there are 8 service providers staffed. We also have evaluation staff that includes my diagnosticians, licensed school psychiatrists, and our speech and language pathologists. And there are 15 special education evaluation staff members currently. Within that group, there are 38 total that are staff in the district. 6 of those are contracted staff members, okay? We also have special education teachers and paraprofessionals that are housed at the campus that support our students with disabilities. We have 48 teachers right now and 60 paraprofessionals. Okay. Now I wanted to look at our special education evaluation data, the students that we serve, looking at the students that we serve in special education. So we have a total of 854, and that was from Monday. That number may have moved today, but Monday there was 854 students receiving services, and out of those 854, 98 of them were initial requests for FIEs this school year, and we received parent consent to evaluate them. 91 of those students were eligible for actual services. So the 91 students from this year are included in that amount of 854. 15 of those students were referred by ECI, which is the Early Childhood Intervention in the city. And they referred, 12 of those students were actually eligible for services. Okay, and so you'll see there on that chart where we have the different disability categories that students were eligible for. We have students, the highest number is learning disability, 291 students, and that does include students that receive services for dyslexia, okay? And then we have students that are other health impaired is another large number, 98. Intellectual disability is 103. Speech impairment is 109 students, and then autism is our rising number of 172. Here I wanted to provide you some data. This is the state reported data. The state reports on the special education department annually. And so we have our state performance plan reports for child find. And you'll notice that there are green arrows in all areas except one, so that our data increased And it's all reported from last school year, my first year as a special ed director. So this past school year, we raised our child fine for SPP 11 to 99% accuracy, okay, in compliance. And then our child fine, thank you. Our child fine SPP 12, which is those ECI, those babies have to be evaluated and receive IEP services by their 3rd birthday. And so our number did drop to 92, but because that number is so small, there was 1 student out of 12 that we missed his birthday, okay? And that actually happened before I was hired. But it's either way, you know, we corrected that and the students receiving services out of those 12 students. And for transition 13, we have 100% again for that. That continued at 100%. RDA, which is our SPED data we discussed earlier in the year, I believe I brought it to you in October. RDA looks at our academic data for special education students' STAR scores and services receiving. And notice that that went from a DL3 to a DL2, which is our goal to continue to go up to a DL0, okay? I also give you the data for our SPED complaints. Notice that our SPED complaints are here on the side. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 noted here. And out of the 6, 3 were actually investigated, okay? So 5. 5 were actually, well, 1, 2, 3 were investigated. The other 2 were not investigated because there was no non-compliance and the other parent withdrew the complaint, okay? So out of the 5, 3 were actually gone through a full complaint process and investigation, and we had to do corrective action, okay? And versus last year where we had 7 complaints, and all but 1 came from with a withdrawal, okay? So you'll see the parent and community engagement opportunities. As Ms. Bell said, this is one area that we wanted to increase by 15%. And so last year we had about 3 parent meetings, and this year, as you can see, we've had a parent meeting each month of the school year. We at a different campus. And in these parent meetings, we actually provided parent sessions on different areas that they may need for their children. We provided sessions on autism awareness, dyslexia, transition services, mental health, as well as speech communication. And so you'll see pictures. We had a great time. We had children performing and parents involved. So that was great. We had our first annual transition fair this year, and we collaborated with the student services so we can get additional services for our parents and families. They received information about colleges, workforce for students with disabilities, as well as health resources for those families. So it was a great event, and we were glad to be able to share these informations with our families. Another thing we're proud of is our culture, communication, and our professional learning for this school year. We increased professional learning. You'll see that professional learning plan where we provided all of these professional developments and more to our general education teachers, special education teachers, as well as campus administrators. And those professional learning plan, this plan includes standard-based IEPs, accommodations, STAR readiness for students with disabilities, co-teaching, and inclusive opportunities. We also engage in weekly, monthly, bi-weekly meetings with our department to ensure we're being in compliance on our side and that we're able to collaborate with each other for improvements. We have our weekly evaluators huddle, new teacher cadre that we do for new teachers every month, twice a month, as well as audits that we do with our art facilitators. Some initiatives that we have for this school year is our 18+ transition program. We're so proud of those students. Those students are over the age of 18. They met all of their high school requirements, and now we're working on life skills with them to be adults living on their own maybe, or in a home with other adults, and learning to take care of themselves. So you'll see in one picture they're folding clothes and doing laundry, and another picture they're cleaning, and they're actually doing some beautifications at BAMO. And so they're learning those skills in the 18+ program. We also have our sensory solutions that you guys approved. And so you'll see the kids climbing on things, and you'll see them stepping on things. And these are sensory items that we purchased for the district's special education students, or any student that just needs a sensory break. So we have those sensory items at almost every campus. We still have some items coming in as we speak. We also are excited about the Transition Resource Fair and Car Show that we talked about earlier. This was our first year doing that, and we want to do it each year annually for our students. And of course, the Tiger Cafe will come in the fall of 2025. We'll start that in September at the high school. And then last but not least, our Special Olympics has evolved to not just visiting other campuses for other districts for bowling, but we had our own bowling this year. And then, of course, we continue to visit those other districts' Special Olympics, track meets, basketball, bowling activities. And then we definitely had our Special Olympics on yesterday, and it was another phenomenal event, track meet for all of our surrounding districts to come and visit us. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Cromer. Any questions, comments? Secretary Morris?
Thank you. I want to first congratulate LSSP. Thank you. I really think that is a good accomplishment and will help out for the next thing I'm going to say, because I myself believe that when a child has the inability to learn, something causes that. It's not just a learning disability, something causes it. And I think with the LSSP and with your support and your help, that we will be able to identify the students, because when they get ready to transition to higher education, learning disability is not a disability that the universities and college accept for services. And so we, in the lower level, need to identify, is it a focus issue or just a cognitive issue? Is something that caused that? And then if we target that area, then that's when the parents will take their responsibility to get the right diagnosis or the right thing. So I think where we are now, from what I've seen before to what I see now, we are really on the right track, and I want to thank you for what you do and for the people that you're putting in place to help our children.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Secretary Morris. Trustee Nichols?
I just had one question, and thank you for doing a good job. Just echo what Trustee Morris has said and the whole board. But in reference to page, I think it's page 3, slide 3, the current special education students that you show, I know you mentioned that it was an increase for autism. Is it any way that you can probably show what we were before, like the percentages of the increase? Because I see that it's 291, but I don't know what did it increase from? How did, you know, if it's an increase, show the
Right.
increase.
So for the autism is where the increase is at 172 currently. And we can, I'm sure I can pull data from years past so we can see that trend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, just because you've done a great job. I mean, I just want people to know, see that number.
Yes.
So we all would know, even with all the rest of those items, if, you know, if you had increase, decrease, what percentage was it?
Definitely.
Just for metrics purposes. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
All right, very good. I got maybe 3.
Trustee Jones.
If you would raise your hand to get recognized, then we could, that would help out
Actually, I
tremendously.
will be using my voice and
Trustee
advising.
Whitfield, just pause for a second. I have the floor. So my question, if we go back to the previous slide, which talks about the numbers. Now, I'm a math guy, so I was trying to get these numbers to equal 38. Will you help me to kind of get to that 38 number based off of what we have here?
Yes, so the 38 number comes from here and then some contract staff.
Okay, so it's the 6, 13, 8, 15, and then we did a reduction of the 6 with your contract and probably something else.
Well, some of the contract staff are in my diagnostician numbers.
Okay,
Yes. So, and because they're here every day.
got it.
So I always include them in my staff, but they're actually contract.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. If we go to that next slide, so we have 854 students and receiving special education services. And then on the complaints, we have roughly 5. Actually, less than 5.
4.
Yeah, so I want to commend you and the staff, because when you look at that, that's less than 1% of complaints for all the students who are being served in these various different areas of special education services. So I wanted to definitely bring that forward. Because that has been one of the sticking points for us on our taper for a few years, and since you've been here, we're definitely addressing that, so I wanted to commend you and your staff on that.
Thank you. I want to also add, for those complaints, this year, I did not use any attorneys to fix or resolve any of those issues.
Good job.
Very good. Awesome. We do have somebody that's going to make a comment. Trustee Whitfield?
My question would be, as far as the special education services, are we fully staffed, and is every student up to date as it relates to their service and their documents? There are.
I heard the first question. I didn't hear the second one.
Are we up to date as far as, I understand that there has been complaints, but as far as the students are concerned, are we up to date as it relates to services? Are we running behind? Are we fully staffed? And are we still under TEA conservatorship as it relates to our special services? Special ed services.
Okay, we have not been under conservatorship in regard to special ed services. And we are fully staffed, including my contract staff. And so that's why and I don't know, it's not moving anymore.
Slide 2.
Slides 2, yeah.
It's not moving for me. Okay. So on slide 2, one more, yes. So there, 38, in that 38, we do have some contract staff, okay? And so our contract staff does fill our vacancies that we have. And so we are fully staffed with the contract staff. Services are up to date for students. We are going to offer additional services in the summer for students as well.
All right, thank you very much. I do have one other question. I got a call, not a call, somebody mentioned today that we have some students who live in Lancaster, but they're going to a neighboring district for services. Is there a way for us to identify students that live in Lancaster, but they go somewhere else, that we can get them back home and serve them here?
We can look into that.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Secretary Morris?
I would say, I didn't mention it, I didn't say anything to you, nor did I say anything to Dr. Pereira, because when I heard that conversation about students going to other districts, and when the conversation got on, I just realized you haven't looked at the service we offered.
Right.
You haven't looked at our actual special education plan. And I said, I can't do anything about it, but I wanted to encourage you to contact our special ed department and look at our services online.
Right, and I do get transfers that parents do tell me, we didn't realize that you had all of this here, and they're very excited when they come.
I think it's a miscommunication is going out, and some people are just picking it up. But you're doing a great job. I can actually say that for the last 35 years, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Cromer. The next item on our agenda is audit engagement. Dr. Pereira?
Yes, thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Ms. Dana Shaw-Mosley to bring that information and share it with our board as well as our community. Ms. Shaw-Mosley, the floor is yours when you are ready.
Good afternoon, Board President Jones, board members, and Dr. Pereira. This evening, I'm presenting the engagement letter for the financial audit. I just want to take a moment to talk about the Finance Department, internal controls and compliance, and then lead to the engagement letter that we're going to ask request for approval. Our Finance Department is committed to strong internal controls designed to prevent fraud, waste, and abuse across all financial operations, including accounts payable, procurement, and payroll. These internal controls are essential to safeguard public funds, ensuring transparency, and promoting ethical stewardship of district resources. In our accounts payable department, we have a three-way invoice verification process for purchase orders, invoices, and receiving documentation. Also, we have a segregation of duties between accounts payable and procurement. And then we use our financial system to ensure that we have workflows in place to approve this. Also, in our procurement department, we follow federal, state, and local laws, including the Texas Education Code and EGR requirements. We use board-approved procurement policies, including thresholds for competitive bidding and contract approvals. We promote fair competition, vendor accountability, and conflict of interest avoidance. All purchasing decisions are supported by proper documentation, competitive quotes or bids, and we require review for compliance before approval. Payroll. We have internal controls for payroll, including authorization and workflows with new hires, termination, and compensation changes. We have regular reconciliation for payroll against budgeted positions. We monitor leave balances and overtime to ensure accuracy and compliance with policy. Also, the finance departments follow we follow all approved board policies, legal and local, and we comply with all federal and state procurement laws and regulations. Staff are routinely trained on policy updates and internal control reviews. And so I'm leading into the financial audit review process. The background. There are currently no requirements for board policy in CFC that requires us to rotate audit firms. We have employed Whitney Penn for the past 4 years since 2021. As you see here, the Government Finance Officers Association, this is the best practice. We should enter into a multi-year agreement for at least 5 years in duration. And then the second bullet says governmental entities should undertake a full-scale competitive process for selecting the independent auditor. This was the process since 2021. We released the RFP February 22nd, 2021. Then in March 11th, 2022, we had an RFQ deadline, and we extended it 2 weeks because we only received 2 respondents. Then the purchasing department directly reached out to 10 accounting firms. The RFQ closed March 25th, 2022 with 4 respondents. We did a final score tabulation, and Willie Penn was the auditor of selection. We brought that to you for review. So this year, this is our second 1-year extension, because we had them for 3 years. Last year, we asked for a renewal of 1 year, and this will be our second extension. And so that's what I'm requesting at the board meeting on the 25th. And so we're asking for you to agree to this audit engagement with a not to exceed of $67,000 for the cost. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Shaw-Mosley, Secretary Morris.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't get it out. Thank you. Okay, so I have 3 questions. The first question I would like for you as our financial CFO to tell the public the difference between a ledger and a check.
Okay, so the general ledger is where all the transactions reside. You have the assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenditures. A check is something that we give for payment for a service we, provide. We cut you a check for compensation in payroll, and a check for accounts payable services. That's the difference. The ledger is where the transactions reside.
All right.
Yep.
And so the next question is, and I'm gonna be real quick on these. So when a check is written, how many names are on that check?
It's two checks, the board president and the secretary.
Who's the secretary?
Carolyn Ann Morris, last time I checked.
And then the next one is, thank you for that. I had to get that one out on you.
Okay.
But the next one is how can a blank check be just sitting around?
Well, as I stated before, we have a three-way match process. You have to have a vendor, which presents an invoice, so the vendor would be the payee. You have to have a purchase order, which goes through an approval process, and then you have to have a receiving document. It matches, and then the system computes a check. It spits out a check, and then we mail it to the vendor, or we perform an ACH transaction. But a blank check is not possible through our system. Not a blank check.
Right.
And we don't have checkbooks sitting around. Everything is through our ERP system.
That's why I asked first who name on the check, because I know how I am, and I know
Right.
everyone, and I know you do your job and you do it well, and you're gonna make sure that we're well represented. You've been here a while, and you know
I've been
how
here
that
12 years, and we have
12
passed
years.
audit all 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
And never had that question to come up about a blank check, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Secretary Morris. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Yes, I have one for you as it pertains to, we're doing another one-year extension. Is there the possibility for us doing another one-year extension, or would that be something you would want to investigate and bring back to us to consider?
I'll investigate and bring it back to you, but we probably will stick with Willie Penn's, the audit firm.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, the next item we have is the child nutrition update. Dr. Pereira?
All righty. I'm going to call forward Dr. James Kimbrough to present that information to our board and our community. He and his team have been very busy the last few weeks, ensuring that we have someone to provide services for us come fall.
Yes. Good evening, Board President Jones, distinguished Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. I'm here tonight, as Dr. Pereira said, to discuss the child nutrition update for the 2024-25 school year. And first, I want to start by introducing my team, because I truly do stand on their backs. My coordinator is Ms. Lynch, my specialist is Ms. Dunn, and our tech is Ms. Steuben. One thing that we discussed, that we had to go out for rebid for our FSMC RFP, and we did discuss that's because the high school and BAMO went to CEP, and that was a material change to that contract with that increased revenue. We did publish the RFP on February 21st. We had vendor presentations and tasting at the high school on March the 25th. And one thing Dr. Pereira did stress, she wanted to see the students have an active role in participating in this vendor selection, because they are the ones who actually eat the food every day in the cafeteria. One thing the students did, key communicator students and the culinary arts, we selected a few of those students. They sampled the vendor entrees, and also we did go to a couple campuses, BAMO, LMS, and Beltline, and we have the students really as a part of the RFP, is them to look at that 21-day menu and get their input from the staff. We had parents there so they could pick what do they like to eat on the menu, because that 21-day menu, as you're gonna find out, that is binding. We had 6 vendors that participated, and they submitted proposals, and those were actually due on April 2nd. And actually today, the committee actually started looking over and evaluating those proposals. So hopefully in May, I'll be coming back with the vendor who won that proposal and be recommending an FSMC to feed our students in the cafeteria. One major focus, just looking at our audit, which I will talk about last, is upgrading our POS system. If you can look down at the bottom, at the old POS is in the bottom left corner. We transitioned those out about a week ago, and you can see the new POS system. And we replaced the hardware, which you see there, and also the software. We're moving to a web-based system and a cloud-based system, and basically that's going to help us with the audit. And I will get to that, but Basically, the NutriKids, what we have now, you have to wait till the end of the day and go and calculate the numbers. With the new system, you can go in at any time and see. I can see how many kids ate at high school. I don't have to wait till the end of the day. Also, with NutriKids, which was giving us a problem with the audit, is it changes the numbers every night. So you have to really look at those numbers. It wasn't helping us with the audit, and I'll come back to that. So next week is Wednesday. We will go live. We will transition over to a new POS system, and we will start running that software, which is Mosaic, and that would help us out a lot. So we are moving forward in child nutrition and upgrading our technologies for sure. I do have some information about the audit that took place this year in the spring. The first thing, it was an administrative and procurement review. They looked at everything in child nutrition, TDA. One thing I do want to celebrate first, we had no major findings. So, one of the things that, our fundings was being held is counting and claiming. That's for every campus and for the district. We had no findings in counting and claiming. There was a lot of pressure there. Any finding in counting and claiming, they would have suspended our funding. We could not have at any campus in the district. We couldn't have been off by one kid, or they would have suspended our funding again.
Well, Dr. Kimbrough, before you go forward, man, I want to commend you for that, because we had a huge ordeal the last 18 to 24 months with the topic that you're speaking about.
Yes.
So commend you for coming into this role and doing the work that you've done thus far.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Board President. And this is the preliminary, but this was the head auditor in the state who completed this audit. This is the auditor that trains all the other auditors in Texas. So she came from Houston, and she did our district, then she went to San Antonio.
Well, the best needs the best, right?
Right.
We had only one physical finding, and that is because the vendor in the base year of the contract, they deviated from the 21-day menu, and that is tied to that RFP. We did not give them permission, because you need TDA permission to change that, and it's very simple. If you have apples down for that day, you have to serve apples in the first 21 days. You cannot swap the oranges. That is a violation of the contract. And basically, any cost that we receive, I already talked to Ms. Mosley and Dr. Pereira, we will pass that on to the vendor. We would not pay that. It's not much, because it's for 3 days, but that is a no-no in child nutrition, because it's part of the RFP. You do not touch that first 21-day menu. You have to serve those meals as is. And the only way you can change it, you have to write TDA. It's got to be a shortage on bananas or something, and they may let you change it. But if finalized by TDA, this may be the district's best child nutrition audit in the past several years. We had very minimal things that we have to correct. So we're not worried about losing our funding, having our funding taken away from us this year. They will be back in the fall of 2027, because it's every 3 years. So we have to just keep up that work and make sure that we're staying in compliance. And like Ms. Mosley said, it is our internal controls, and they're really looking at, are you keeping up? Do you know what's going on? Are you tracking everything? And do you have the documentation to support it? We did get 2 commendations. Rosa Parks and LMS were 2 of the kitchens they went to, and the auditor wrote that those cafeterias did an excellent job serving our students. And also myself, and I get this to my team, received a commendation, being very knowledgeable of the program policies, procedures, and proactive in managing the FSMC contract.
All right.
Thank you. Any questions?
Secretary Morris.
Thank you so much, President Jones. I want to say nutrition, finance, special ed, curriculum, academics, and student services, even though he hadn't gotten up there and spoke yet. But I just want to say, you all, I'm going to speak from my seat here, representing District 6, is that Dr. Pereira said one thing. I always repeat it every time: you get what you see. And she has placed individuals in place for the benefit of our children, regardless. Food is most important thing it is for a child to learn, because if they don't eat, they can't learn. They can't focus. And to bring it on where every child, even though all we going through with whoever they elected up there to that house, we are still focusing on the children and making sure our kids eat. We're making sure that the money is getting put in the right place. Our buildings are being taken care of for conducive learning. Our special ed is being identified with the appropriate individuals. Our curriculum, our district improvement plan is on track. Our social services is on track. Our HR for hiring individuals and working hard for is on track. So thank you. Didn't mean to take much time, but I just want to thank you from me, and I'm sure my other colleagues on the board concur to that. And Dr. Pereira and your leadership. Thank you.
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. CWJOB, good job, good job.
Dr. Kimbrough, hold on just a second. We got one additional question, Trustee Nichols.
I'm sorry. Good job, okay? But I just have one question, and it's probably a control in place already. You mentioned that the vendors changed the menu without our permission, because we're all a team here. Did we not know that the change was made? And then my next question is, that's happened. Do we have a control in place to go forward to be able to determine when we're not on track?
Yes, it was during the 23-24 school year, okay. and that is one of the reasons this position is created, because the director, that's why we're here. Like, you have to have somebody that oversees the FSMC. One thing that's on the contract review form is, did the vendor follow the 21-day menu? So you have to have somebody like a head person that knows the contract, knows the policies, and knows, like, the new FSMC, if we get in one next year, communicating with them, you don't have permission to change that 21-day menu.
So we do have control.
Yes.
That's my question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you have to.
So, yeah. Okay.
You just have to check it, and you have to go out to the schools and monitor and make sure the vendors should not want to do it because it's a rebid.
Yeah, but I'm just talking.
Yes, we have a
our
position.
Responsibility.
Yes, our responsibility. Yes, ma'am.
I don't care what they do. I mean.
Yes.
So you have control in place to assure that.
Yes.
Automatically, you identify found they're off track.
Yes.
Documented that we've reported to them, and I agree that they do need to pay for whatever.
Yes,
and then also they need to send a letter for reputation risk too, because they're messing up our reputation and happen to have this finding. So, but anyhow, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Dr. Jackson, would you hit him off one more time?
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. CWJOB, good job, good job. All right.
Dr. Kimbrough went home, got cleaned up for us tonight, so we got to hit him with something. Yeah, something earlier today. He didn't have it on when we were playing chess. Next item on our agenda is the operations update. Thank you. Operations update, Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I see Mr. Oster is already at the podium to share that information with our board and our community. Mr. Oster, the floor is yours, but I think you have someone as well will be presenting with you?
They weren't able to make it.
Okay.
But I do have their information.
Okay, go ahead.
Go through.
Proceed.
Good evening, President Jones, distinguished Board of Trustees, and Dr. Pereira. I'm here tonight to present our operations update. Since my last update, March 27th, maintenance operations been working hard, staying on top of requests and completing a number of requests throughout the district. On April 4th, we restored the power at Tiger Stadium. The M&O team worked hard, making sure things were operational for the Special Olympics yesterday. And overall, it was a great day in Weibo Nation, and M&O was honored to be part of a great event. And also want to update about technology there. So we got the power back on Friday evening. Technology worked all through the weekend, replacing over 187 cables. And first thing, Monday morning, they were able to get all the cameras operational except for 2, get all the badge access taken care of, and Wi-Fi up and going. And they have just a few little things to restore. I think 2 cameras out of the batch, and they worked hard getting everything up and going to make sure the Special Olympics was up and going for the scoreboard and everything as well. We have plenty of projects in progress with M&O, especially with all the storms we've had lately. And we've taken care of the GWC awning and the roof curbs, but we're still working on those roof leaks. And after the last cold snap, you know, we had that damage there at the stadium. And where M&O is at now is everything's been cleaned up, and we're about to start the remodel process and getting the elevator up and going now that the power's back on. And M&O is still maintaining a 99% completion percentage. And also I'd like to, I got a reward this week in cabinet from the special ed department, and I have to share this reward with the finance department with Ms. Dana Mosley.
We're supposed to have music, Jack. Again, keep the day job.
Yes, with all the work my team, the team does, we couldn't get it done without finance helping us go through all the compliance rules and everything and regulations. So thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, do we have any questions for Mr. Oster as he's taking a seat? All right. Hearing none, we will continue. Has us recessed into closed session. The time is 6:28 p.m. We'll go there under codes 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.076. Time is 6:28 p.m. the screen. Yeah. I got you. I got you. No, I think Ms. Allen has it for that point. All right, the time is now 6:41. We are reconvening the open. The next item on our agenda is board matters, and that is the review of our governance time use tracker for March 27th, 2025. Get this pulled up real quick. Again, I was not present for that meeting. It was a combination of Vice President Smith and Secretary Morris who conducted that meeting in my absence. However, I have reviewed the document that was completed by Ms. Allen, our Executive Administrative Assistant, taking care of us. And for my review and what I captured, everything looks fine, but I would request that Vice President Smith take a look at that between now and our board meeting, just to make sure those numbers gel with what you recall. But everything looks good to me. So thank you for doing this for us, Ms. Allen, on a consistent basis. Are there any questions or comments pertaining to what you guys have reviewed? Okay. One of the keys, again, is that us utilizing more time on student outcomes, and I think our numbers are consistently increasing on that. So I want to commend Dr. Pereira and the rest of the agenda committee on ensuring that we have items that are focused on student outcomes as we make this preparation. With that being said, we'll move to our next item, which is the deadline to submit CEC credits is Monday, April 14th, 2025. So if you have any outstanding credits or CEC, make sure you get those submitted to Ms. Allen before Monday so she can make her compilation and have that report ready for the April 24th board meeting. Any questions, comments there? Okay.
Yes, Trustee Jones. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Trustee Whitfield.
I was just now let back into this meeting, so I wasn't sure if I missed anything as it relates to the closed session discussion, or was there any discussion when you came back to open session regarding closed session?
No, ma'am. There was nothing discussed regarding closed.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Next, we will go to our reminders. We have SLI coming up, San Antonio, June 11th through June 14th, and Fort Worth will be June 18th through June 21st, 2025. Registration opens on April 16th, 9 a.m. So if that is a desire for you to go, make sure you enter that information into the portal. And have the appropriate resources to attend that conference. And also be mindful that in our operating guidelines, we specify that if you're going, you will only be funded to go to one of those, because typically it's going to be the same content and information. If you're presenting, that's something different because you'll be presenting, but our guidelines specify you would pick one or the other in which you will attend. And other than that, the next item on our agenda is adjournment. And is there a motion to adjourn? Make a motion to adjourn. Okay, it's been properly moved and second. The time is 6:45 p.m. We are adjourned. Thank you.